Okay, so I am sitting on the bench in the middle of nowhere in streaming sunlight, and my hair is rather dirty, and I don't have contact lenses in or anything like that, but sometimes you just gotta do a little bit of a video, even if things aren't perfect. So I came across a video recently, I think it was this week or last week, and it was just a really short video on YouTube, and it was this girl who was inspired in her early years by this chef, this local celebrity chef based in France. And it inspired and motivated her to move to France. She then studied at a local culinary school, graduated. She worked as a pastry chef, and she later became head pastry chef. And then she ended up starting her own little bakery cafe with her partner in Paris. And later on, in her life story, in her career journey, the celebrity chef invited her to this kind of real, intentional, soulful tasting event where they discussed food and everything was prepared with intention and loving intention and things like that. And it made me think, in my own journey, in my career path, or just life purpose, it hasn't been that simple, that really one step to the next. And I wouldn't say it made me upset, but it made me frustrated, because a part of me wished that my journey was that simple and was that straightforward. But at the end of the day, what's happened is that I am a medicine woman. And I have picked up these pockets, these trinkets, these gifts of medicine along my way in my journey through life. And it's, in spiritual circles, they call it the path of the wounded healer or something like that. And it's, so growing up, it's difficult to kind of claim and own and identify and see your psychic gifts and your ability as a healer and things like that. I would make these elaborate fairy gifts for these fairies in the garden. And my mom and sister, they would be like, what on earth is she doing? But I would create these like flower ceremonies and things like that, because obviously I could, I don't remember now, but I would remember being able to connect to things beyond the veil, things beyond the finite realm. But we're conditioned to do a very traditional way of thinking. So my dad said, business is good. If you get a degree, you'll earn money and go into business, because business is where you need to be. So I got a finance degree in marketing. And before that, I didn't really know what was going on. I needed to earn money, so I became a fitness trainer. So I was really good with the body. I was dancing and things like that. Ended up going into massage therapy, but there was always this underlying doing what feels good according to society's terms, and doing what felt right, and not what felt right, but what was told was the right thing to do, and going into corporate and things like that. And it was just, for me, it was always trying to fit in when I should have been standing out. And I've gone through lots of videos and journeys and things like that about how, as star seeds, we trigger the pain in other people, and we trigger the shadows. And as a medicine woman, as a shaman, as a high vibrational light worker, being around people, just being in my presence, will bring up their pain, their shadow self, parts of themselves they haven't reclaimed and things like that. So younger, being born into the environment I was in, I hid to be safe and to protect myself. And by hiding, I couldn't claim who I was because I forgot who I was and didn't know who I was. So I was just being a good girl. I just did what I was told and what was told to be done by your parents or by society and things like that. And I've had immense amount of we're doing live. This is a live situation. I'm not stopping and starting. We've had immense amount of pain and trauma. I've had abusive relationships. I've had people who've lied to me and betrayed me, and I've just felt lost. I've gone and lived on people's farms, and I've always never really had enough, and I was always doing the right thing, but I kind of always overworking and being underpaid or undervalued, and always trying to fit in. And the more I tried to fit in, the more corporate I tried to be, the messier I seemed to look. I tried so hard to look perfect and put together, and my hair was always a mess. I was always late and stressed out and things like that. But what I've learned, not coming full circle, but I spent a long time in Edinburgh, and Edinburgh, there's something about that place that there's a healing quality to it. There's a reason why J.K. Rowling went there, to kind of heal and write her books and get inspired and things like that. There's a holding quality to it. It's harsh. It takes no nonsense, that place. The energy frequency of Scotland and Edinburgh is not to take any nonsense, but you get forced to see yourself. And I realized there was a part of me that felt I couldn't love myself, or I just didn't feel worthy of my own life, or I felt like I needed to be punished and things like that. And it brought me into this whole journey of reclaiming what was lost, coming back home into my psychic gifts, into my healing abilities, into my shamanism and things like that. When I was in my 20s, I was close to moving on that path. I did my Reiki training and my Reiki mastery, and I was in the flow at that point. I did shamanism journeys and things like that, and did initiations and worked with the Magic Ministry School and things like that. So I've had, the official training and stuff. But now, the last year, I've gone through this major upgrade, this major spiritual awakening, and I've come home into the completion of that journey, of that cycle, and I know and understand my career path. So it's not been as straightforward as get inspired, become a pastry chef, go for it. It's not been a simple, straightforward, step-by-step process. It's been all over the place. But when you are a healer and you are helping people transmute their pain, your story and life journey has been to know pain. I have dealt with demons. I have been to the underworld many times, in many ways and in many layers. And I have picked up medicine along the way. I've been able to activate certain light codes and geometric codes and high soul source frequencies by being in those situations. So starseeds, everything lies dormant, and those tools and these modalities and activations happen through the stage of initiations with spirit. And I've walked the path and I've walked the journey. I've activated these higher frequency soul codes. And if you resonate with starseeds and things like that, there's been a whole thing that's been going on. It's come to completion, but there's been a war on this planet. There's been the 144,000 light workers. I mean, I've stood in grids with light workers around the planet, and I've sent in healing lights and have worked with Gaia on an intricate level to bring about this depth of healing and evolution that she's going through. But it's not as simple and straightforward as becoming an accountant and having a car and having a house. I've been in many ways all over the place, but it's about collecting medicine for myself and medicine for others. And now I'm in the capacity where I've activated a Christ consciousness, a love. And this sounds all very egotistical, but this has been my journey. You know, it doesn't make logical sense. And it's been, you know, I've laid on the floor in shower rooms, you know, with a knife right next to me, like wanting to end things because it's been so hard, because I've been fighting in the depths of the underworld on an intrinsic psychic level for the planet. But because of that, I have the gifts. Like, I know how to take people out of intense low vibrational energetic frequencies of depression, of burnout, of the lowest of the lowest states. And I know how to bring you back home to yourself, and I know how to walk journeys and shamanic paths into the depth of the underworld of who you are as a being, to reclaim parts of yourself that have been lost, and to help you journey into your own underworld, to reclaim parts of your soul that have been fragmented from lifetimes, from things that have happened, and literally piece your soul back together, piece your mind back together, piece your heart back together, piece your spirit back together, so that you come from your own heart, your pure, authentic self, and your pure heart. And yeah, the Christ, I mean, I've done many visitations with Christ, and this depth of this Christ consciousness love is the highest frequency that you can achieve in this realm, and it is walking the path and helping others to walk the path to get to that point. So I thought I'd just share my career journey or my life purpose journey, and it's not been straightforward, but I'm seeing the beauty in it now, and I'm seeing the path of a shaman is collecting medicine, and I've done that. I hope he's so well, and I'm not even sure if I'll post this or not. I probably will, but I just want to know that not everyone's journey is the same, and your journey is there for a reason, and your past has been there for a reason. And if you want to make sense of it, and you want to do work with me, and you want to untether yourself from the layers of pain and debris that you carry with you as a cloak because of what you've been through, come and connect with me, and we can work on the journey together.